and that, oh, thank you very much. And I forgot to record again. Not my strength. Let me get rid of that. Okay. We are trying to get everybody together to do a fundraiser this summer. More information on this to come, but we have started planning that. And all of this while our PCO team is already beginning preparations for PCO filing in May. And before we know it, obviously, we'll be looking at endorsements for the 2022 cycle. So it's a busy, busy time already right here in February. The midterms are right around the corner, right down the road in front of us. And this year we'll be voting for US Senate, which is obviously Patty Murray's seat. We'll be hoping to keep a Democrat in the Secretary of State office by electing Steve Hobbs, who was recently appointed to that role after President Biden took away our Republican Secretary of State. We'd love to keep a Democrat in that office. Our 34th senators and representatives will also be on the ballot, along with many judicial seats. So we've got another big cycle coming up. We're going to be organizing to support Dr. Kim Schreier in the 8th. I will say that every meeting we have, that seat is so incredibly important to us because the GOP plans to spend a lot of time and money to flip that seat. So we're going to be organizing and supporting that race as well. And I'm really hoping that all of you have made your New Year's resolution to step up and support the 34th and what we do in ways that you aren't currently doing. Make this the year that you turn it up and get busy and help us out in new ways. There's so much work we need to do, and I really need help. As many people as we can to get this done. So we are in this fight for democracy and our democratic values. Neither of these things are safe in the current climate. Be that change you wish to see, we know who says that. Last Saturday, several of us attended the King County Democrats fundraiser, saw some awesome speakers, very inspirational. And, on the flip side, I'm not sure if you heard this or not, but the keynote guest speaker at the upcoming King County GOP event is the one and only Rudy Giuliani. So this should give you chills. It makes me hurl, honestly. The party of Trump is right here in our backyard, right here in Washington, folks. So please step up and join us. Your effort, your passion, your energy, your neighbors, everybody pooling our energy will help us all make things happen this year. So send me a note if you'd like to get activated. Steve, if you can put my email in the chat there, just in case anybody wants to reach out and say hello and put me to work. I'd love to hear from you. All right, without further ado, I'm going to hand off to Rachel to go ahead and give our land acknowledgement. Rachel? Have we lost Rachel?
No, I just was on mute and I have a couple of screens up. So here we go. On behalf of the 34th LD Democrats, I acknowledge the land on which we stand today as the traditional home of the Coast Salish and Duwamish people, the traditional home of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot nations. Without them, we would not have access to this gathering or to this dialogue. I ask that we take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land on which we live and work, who are still here.
All right, thank you. All right, now for VIP acknowledgements. Let's start with Burien City Council member Hugo Garcia. Welcome.
Hi, Carla, and then hi, 34 Dems. Excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation and great presentation on the gondola. It's been a super busy first month and week as a council member, and just really excited to have been gotten to work. We were able to extend the Buren's eviction moratorium till the end of the eviction of the crisis here in the city of Buren. We're one of the only cities to extend that till the very end of the moratorium. And we're starting to proceed with hiring a new city manager. We're down to 2 finalists, 2 organizations that we're going to hire to start a search for a city manager. It's really the most important position in the city. So making sure that we have a lot of outreach. And we're also getting ready to roll out an outreach plan for over multiple months on $10 million that the city has from the American Rescue Act plan funding that we received. And really want to make sure that we're diligent in getting feedback on the best way to invest those funds, both for short-term and long-term needs for the city of Buren. So super excited to be able to get right to work. And thank you so much for the invite.
Awesome. It is so good to see you on those Burien City Council meetings. I'm telling you, I love it. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Next is, I think we have King County Council Member Joe McDermott.
Indeed. Good evening, Carla, everyone. Happy Black History Month. I bring that up because a piece of work that I hope will culminate next week began over a year ago when the Board of Health realized, because of some reporting in Crosscut about the disproportionate enforcement of the bike helmet law that the Board of Health has in place against primarily people experiencing homelessness and BIPOC communities. And Crosscut did some great work. Since then, the Board of Health has engaged in research and learning, including a panel at our June meeting last year and a staff presentation at our September meeting. And in our October meeting, we took up public testimony and deep discussion amongst the board about it. Since then, the Seattle Police Department, informed by our work, has announced they will not use 4 offenses, including bike helmets, as a primary offense in their work in the city of Seattle. And the King County Council has invested $221,000 in bike safety education, including helmet distribution and staff support. From all of that work, as I said, culminating, I hope next week, will be at our Board of Health meeting next Thursday. I'll be bringing legislation to repeal the bike helmet requirement and adopt a resolution speaking to the value of bike helmets and calling on the county council in our role to fund support for an evaluation of impacts of our action in about 24 months. Because as we take such a big move, we should also make sure that we're evaluating it. And also, I will just make sure that everyone is aware that Sound Transit's West Seattle to Ballard Link Light Rail Extension draft environmental impact study is out, and public comment period is open and runs through April 28th. And I'll throw into the chat information about both of those topics I just hit, and thank everybody for giving me a minute, and look forward to all the work ahead of us this year. Carla, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Council Member. Thank you both for joining us tonight. I've brought back our Speak Up survey tonight, and this is kind of a fun one. I really want to see people at our pop-up socials. This is our opportunity for those of you who say, let's have meetings in person. You know, I'm dying to get back together, miss everybody. Please come out on our to our pop-up socials. They're on Friday evenings, happy hour time. You don't have to drink. We usually go to a restaurant or a bar-like place, but you certainly don't have to drink, but just come have some conversation. They're really fun, and we had a great one in November, and January it was fun as well. A little less attendance, but they were both really fun. So what I want to do in the survey, if you will click the link that is going into the chat, is just let me know where you think it would be good to meet. I really want to go across the district, not just, you know, central West Seattle or north or southwest Seattle. We've been in White Center. We've been on 35th, kind of in the lower part of West Seattle. Give me your good ideas, and we'll rotate in different places. So a simple survey, just to give me your ideas on places we can meet up. Moving along to our quick Zoom tips. I think we're all pretty good at this point. Closed captioning still available. Please keep yourself on mute unless you've been recognized. If you do have something to say, you want to make a motion, use your little raised hand. And of course, we're all really good at using the chat for comments and questions. All right, moving on to our agenda. You see on the screen the proposed agenda for the evening. I will call out that yet again, I was definitely on vacation when I did this agenda and duplicated some information, duplicated a topic twice in the original published agenda. So hopefully you can indulge me and allow me to correct that here. The intent, if you see the little orange one down here at the bottom on the left, the intent of the duplicated one was to offer a piece in the agenda where we can help you see how you can help advocate for bills that are going on in the session. Can't really put this one off because it's super current and we're in a short session. So if we can allow that change in the agenda, that would be appreciated. Is there any questions, discussion on the agenda? Anyone have issues making that change? All right. Would someone like to unmute yourself and make a motion to accept the agenda?
Move to accept.
Thank you, Roxanne. A second?
Second,
Second.
Name, please.
Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. Rachel Glass seconded, and Roxanne Thayer made the motion. Any discussion? Any questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, anyone opposed, please say nay. All right, we have an agenda. Agenda is adopted. Moving on to minutes. As always, I sent out an email to our members and PCOs on Sunday with our complete minutes from January 12th. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes? Any changes or corrections? All right, if someone would like to make a motion to adopt the minutes,
Move to adopt.
Adopt the minutes.
let's go with Bunny Hatcher on the motion, and I think Roxanne, you want to do the second?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Bunny Hatcher motion and Roxanne Thayer second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Wow, you guys are quiet tonight. Anyone opposed?
There we go.
All right, minutes are approved. Moving along to the budget. So Steve's going to put the budget report in the chat if you would like to look at it. Let me get my slide up here. Okay, we are in, again, very good financial position. Julie is down in California spending some time with her family. So she's given me the report, and essentially we had and I'm not going to read you the slide. You can read the slide yourself. We had over 20,000 beginning balance in January 1st. We took in almost $8,000, mostly in membership. Membership is going very well. Thank you all for renewing if you've done so already. Our expenses included our Schools First contribution of $500 that we approved last month, as well as some membership expenses and the awards for our award ceremony as well. Our month-end balance, $26,386.85. Again, don't forget, our memberships end every year, even if you are a recurring member or recurring donor, excuse me. So you do need to join again for 2022. You will want to do this so that you can vote in the caucus coming up in March. And you will want to do this as well for endorsements coming up around the corner. So get those memberships in. And I think Steve will put a link in the chat if you'd like to take care of that right now. Change makes sense. It's always a good time for that. It's always a good time to show a little love to the 34th. So click the link in chat if you'd like to make a one-time donation. All right. Anybody have any questions on the treasurer's report? If not, we will file it away and move on. Oh, my fault. We will file it away and move on to candidate spotlight. So it's time for the spotlight, where we welcome candidates in and they can share their story with you. James Williams, who I think is online, reminded me this week to set expectations on the process. So these candidate spotlights are really just a time for candidates to come in and introduce themselves, show a little love to the 34th. And then later on in the year, we will come back and do endorsements. There is a bylaw that keeps us from doing any endorsements without providing proper notice. We can jump through some hoops in these meetings to change that, but I'd love to just keep to our process and wait until endorsements are on the published agenda. I am most likely, normally, I don't believe in doing endorsements too early because filing is not until May. And I like to, if you endorse really early, then you don't have an opportunity if someone comes in and wants to run. So I do want to keep it as late like we normally do, keep it in June for most of the candidates, but we are being asked by the state to consider doing an early endorsement for Senator Murray. She's got a pretty good candidate in opposition this year, and they're trying to get as many LDs to do the endorsements for that U.S. Senate seat early in the calendar. So I will probably put this on the agenda in maybe March, definitely by April, and at that time we'll hear any motions for the judicial candidates as well. So again, just an introduction tonight. If does anybody have any questions on that? I always want to make sure that people understand the rules of the road because I know it's confusing. All right. Okay. Thank you, Steve, for putting those links in there. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get started. Each candidate we have tonight, you see their names on the screen. We'll have 2 to 3 minutes, and we will start with Justice Mary Yu.
Well, good evening. I'm Justice Mary Yu, and I am a member of your state Supreme Court. I was appointed to the court in 2014 by Governor Inslee after serving as a trial court judge in King County Superior Court for 14 years. I'm proud to have been the first Latina, Asian, and member of the LGBTQ community to serve on the court. And I have to say, I'm particularly honored to be a member of this particular court, which is majority female, with 4 members being people of color, and under the leadership of the first Latino Chief Justice in our state's history. I'm here to let you know I'm running for re-election and hope to come back in a couple of months, as your chair just explained, to ask for your endorsement. The 34th is personally an important district to me since I was a West Seattleite for 23 years, and subject to the chair's approval, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Judge Yu? You can raise your hand. We don't normally have a lot of questions for our candidates, but I will certainly ask, no problem. And definitely when we do our endorsements, we will go through the normal process where you will have, there'll be motion for endorsement and then speaking, candidate speeches as well as folks who would like to speak on their behalf. So coming soon. Okay. Thank you, Justice. Next up, Brian Todd. Are you with us?
I am. Good evening, Madam Chair. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here tonight, and thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Brian Todd. I am one of your King County District Court judges for the Southwest District. I was appointed by the King County Council, approved unanimously by the council in September. I began work on the court in October, and I am now assigned to the Burien Courthouse, where I am the City of Burien judge presiding over all of their cases. I am a member actually of the 34th District. And so this is my, I guess, quote, home district, as it were. But in any event, so just a little bit of explaining. So the Southwest District is White Center, Burien, Vashon, and Tukwila, Des Moines, Normandy Park, Federal Way, those areas. So the 34th, those of you that are in the south part of it, White Center, Burien, and Vashon Island, I am your district court judge. And I too, when you do your endorsements, I will be back here asking for your endorsements. It's been an honor to serve the court and to serve the citizens of King County and Burien for these past couple months. I look forward to continuing to do that. And I appreciate you allowing me to be here. And again, if you have any questions for me, I'm certainly open to answering them as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great. Anyone have any questions? All right. Thank you, Judge. Let's go next with Lisa Paglisotti. I'm not sure that I'm not butchering your name. My apologies.
You pronounced it perfectly. And good evening, everyone. I am Judge Lisa Paglisotti. I currently serve in the West Division, which encompasses the Seattle area, including West Seattle. I was appointed in 2016 to serve as a judge in King County District Court. Prior to that, I served as a public defender in this county for over 22 years. Before that, I was a juvenile corrections officer and a juvenile probation counselor, and was also involved in law-related education. So I've worked in criminal justice in King County for 37 years. I started volunteering 40 years ago at the King County Department of Youth Services. My judicial philosophy is very simple: treat people with dignity and respect, all those who appear before me. And I believe in compassion and accountability. So holding people accountable, but with compassion. I believe that we can concurrently hold people accountable while providing them services to rehabilitate them. I currently preside over the King County District Court, Regional Mental Health Court, as well as the Regional Veterans Court. I also had the privilege and honor of presiding over King County District Court's first community court out in Redmond. I serve on the Equity and Social Justice Committee at King County District Court, as well as the Budget Committee, and on the statewide Therapeutic Courts Committee and Diversity committees. I also serve as the director of the National Association of Women Judges for all the Western states. And I am happy to answer any questions, and I hope to earn your endorsement yet again from the 34th. Thank you very much for having us here this evening.
All right, any questions? All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
All right. Last, we have Rebecca Robertson.
Hi, thank you so much. Are you able to hear me?
Sounds great.
Just making sure. I'm Rebecca Robertson of the King County District Court. Thank you so much for having me. I was appointed to this position on the District Court by the King County Council in December, and I'm running for re-election to retain my seat in this November. Before being appointed to King County District Court, I was on the Federal Way Municipal Court bench for 12 years. So I am going to be seeking your endorsement, and I believe that I have two unique qualifications that are critical to the court right now: a dozen years of daily judicial experience and a proven track record of inclusive leadership. The judicial system is transforming itself to meet the changing needs of the people it serves, addressing every day the overlapping challenges of mental health, substance abuse, homelessness, and systemic racism. We reevaluate and reimagine what we can do every day. There are many moving parts and stakeholders to the justice system, and I have had years of experience building coalitions in a municipal court and statewide to create some real results. As president of the District and Municipal Court Judges Association, I worked with judges and other stakeholders from around the state, some who eagerly embrace change, as well as others who don't, and sometimes fight against it. I have experience collaborating with all of them so we can create some meaningful solutions to the problems that we face. I believe that the courts must take progressive action to get people the services and the treatment that they need, and we must use evidence-based approaches to increase public safety. Throughout my career, I have addressed this sometimes overwhelming burden of legal financial obligations. I've encouraged the creation of therapeutic courts, helped create caseload limits for public defenders, adopted new technology, created pretrial release and jail alternatives, and advocated for judicial independence and court security. In 2018, I spearheaded the creation of a community court and Federal Way Municipal Court using no extra funding to address issues that cause people to commit crimes. We provided people with mentors, intensive support, and quick linkages to treatment and housing. The court must be able to provide these resources and empower them to address their own issues. And what I've learned from community court can be applied to all other aspects of the justice system. I know I'll be speaking to you again in a few months, and I would welcome any of your questions.
I have a question. I have
There is one question.
sorry, I no, I didn't raise my hand officially here, but my question is, it looks like Lisa and Rebecca are both in the same district position. Would we be voting for one position? And does that mean that Lisa and Rebecca are both running for that same position? Am I understanding that right?
No, we are actually in different seats. I'm in position 3. We are benchmates. She is my next door neighbor in the courthouse. We are not running against each other.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Great question, Rachel. I should have clarified that. Good call out. All right, well, thank you so much for coming and being with us. It really does make a difference when you show up and talk to us. I really appreciate that. And best of luck with your campaign. And I'll be in touch with your people when we know exactly when we're going to do the endorsements. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, so next up, I would like to share the virtual stage with Annie Phillips. She is our co-lead of our Environment, Energy, and Land Use Caucus, and she's going to ask for your help in advocating for a few climate-oriented bills currently on the table in session. And then after that, Annie will show you quickly how to raise your voice online and show support or opposition to a bill. So we'll have a little training there for you. And Steve is going to put the link to the tool in the chat when we get to that point. Welcome, Annie.
Annie, you have to unmute.
Thanks. Okay, thanks again, Carla, and thank you for leading the 34th and putting the climate crisis out front where it belongs. Hi, everyone. It's my privilege to help Randy Litzenberger chair the Environment, Energy, and Land Use Caucus, and it's the 34th's privilege to send our own brilliant climate champions, Representative Joe Fitzgibbon and Senator Joe Nguyen, to the state legislature. Carla, in case we get any questions, could you watch the chat, because I can't watch the chat and talk.
Yeah, no problem. I got you.
Thank you. Now, folks, I am not an expert. I'm nervous about giving a presentation, and I'm also a little unconfident about this climate advocacy in the state legislature. So if I say anything wrong, please correct me and jump in and tell me where I'm not saying it right. Okay, well, this year, I know this, it's a short session. It's only 2 months, from January 10th to March 10th. And we have to get a lot done, and our lawmakers are crushing it. In November, Representative Joe appeared at our caucus to preview his priority bills. And today, all those bills, except one, are still alive. And that one has been folded into other climate bills, which are still alive. I'm going to tell you which horses to bet on and to cheer for with emails and phone calls. They're all about buildings and methane, and they're all in the House Rules Committee this week, along with hundreds of other bills. And before February 15th, they must get pulled out onto the floor calendar, or they'll just stay in rules and never get a vote. I hear we should concentrate on House Rules Chair Laurie Jenkins and our own Representative Fitzgibbon. Randy will put her email address into the chat. Thanks, Randy. Well, the two biggest carbon emitters in Washington state are buildings and transportation. And building emissions are the fastest growing segment. Well, you may ask, how can a building emit carbon? When building residents or users heat it up or cool it down or cook something in it or heat water, energy is burned. First, buildings need to be weatherized and appliances made more efficient so they use less energy. And then we must make sure that energy comes from clean, renewable sources like electricity. In this state, most of our electricity comes from clean hydropower, we're lucky, and solar or wind. But that takes carrots, incentives, and sticks, limits and regulations. That's where new laws come in. Methane is 34 times more harmful than carbon. Cows belching, yeah, that's a big deal. Leaks in extracting and transporting fossil fuels, and organic materials rotting in landfills are the biggest sources. But even cooking with your gas stove adds methane to the atmosphere and threatens the health of our children. The lowest hanging fruit here is yard and kitchen waste that should be taken other places than the dump. Transportation as a source of GHGs is addressed in the $16 billion transportation package that was introduced yesterday, and several other vital climate bills are still active, bills about climate justice, about increasing density around public transit, protecting tree forests on land and kelp forests in the ocean, because forests soak up a lot of carbon. There are many ways to fight climate change, but we're just concerned here about buildings and methane from landfills, which is enough. So you'll be asked in a little while to vote on a resolution to pass these 6 bills. If it passes tonight, our wonderful Bunny Hatcher will send it to the governor and lawmakers, especially the members of the House Rules Committee. But we should speak out as individuals, individual voters too. Okay, here are our favorite climate bills. These are the ones that Representative Fitzgibbon told us about in November, except there's one here that is not making it. But so we've substituted one that his office suggested. Okay, House Bill 1619 concerning appliance efficiency standards. That's the one that he didn't suggest, but we're suggesting the replacement. House Bill 1767 allowing public electric utilities to reach out to customers and offer incentives to convert from fossil fuel to electric. Believe it or not, this has been illegal up to now for utilities to reach out with incentives for customers to switch to green fuels. House Bill 1774, reducing GHGs in smaller existing commercial and multifamily buildings. House Bill 1770, allowing cities to establish their own REACH code, a stricter building energy code than the code established by the state. And House Bills 1663 and 1799, reducing methane emissions from landfills through better management of organic materials. Look for more information in Carla's Sunday newsletter, but please act on these before the week is out, because if we don't get them out of rules by February 15th, which is next Tuesday, that's the cutoff. They won't get voted on this session. Help our wonderful Joes push these climate bills over the top by keeping up the pressure until they pass both houses. All oars in the water. That's it.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Annie. And Randy, thank you for putting the bill numbers in the chat there. So Annie and Randy, are you going to go through the tool? Is that still the plan?
Through the what? Oh, the tool? Well, No, actually, for right now, we want people to contact Lori Jenkins and get these bills out of rules. I'm going to give you more information for your Sunday newsletter, and that will be for commenting for bills when they're being heard in public hearings and committees. Because there's no public hearings this week. Is that okay?
Sure. So we're gonna put it, I mean, I had the slide with all the steps in it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is such a moving target. It's been going so fast, and I've been getting more and more information and learning so much. And these steps are valid when we are commenting on bills that are being heard in public hearings by committees.
Got it.
Which they were until this week. And we submitted a
Okay.
lot of pros, I'm sure, because we had a lot of activity on
Gotcha.
them. And there will be more committee meetings with public hearings coming up, but just not this next week. So it'll be in your newsletter for Sunday.
Okay, so we're going to put the instructions on how to do this, and it is very easy. It is literally going to a web page and, finding the bill that you want to comment on and using their tool to say what you either oppose or support, or you can give comments and it's done. So you can do this in a very quick time frame, and we will give you the steps for that. So look out for that in our email.
Good.
All right. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Annie and Randy, for all your hard work on the Environment, Energy, and Land Use Caucus. I wish I could just say EELU really fast. Again, we've got some, still got some work to do on these. So love everybody to put their support in for them. And look for the email on Sunday for more instructions on our next steps. So as Annie mentioned, we do have a resolution to support the work that they're doing. And I'll just make a note that our bylaws, which we're in the middle of revising right now, we're going to be proposing a bylaw that will allow our caucuses to not have to go through this rushed resolution process to support specific bills. We'll get into this in April when we go through our bylaws, but this, as Annie said, it's so fluid, and the hoops that we kind of have to run through and jump through to allow our caucuses to raise their voice on our behalf is pretty onerous. So there's going to be some modifications proposed in the bylaws when we get into that later this year. But for now, we worked really quickly and hard. Annie, thank you for doing the hard work here. Thanks to Anne for writing this up with Annie. We'd like to propose a resolution so that they can do their work. Bunny, would you like to give us a quick introduction? And I think you're going to pass off to Annie to explain a little further.
Yes. Hi. Before I start, though, I want to give a shout out to Rachel and Carla for their work on having our video be absolutely one of the best parts of the winter soiree last Saturday night. The 34th had the best video of all those submitted. So you guys are rock stars. Okay. The resolution that Annie talked about, it points out the accelerating pace of climate change and the resulting increase in storms, droughts, wildfires, and that greenhouse gases and fossil fuels are major contributors to the climate change that are triggering the increase in these disasters. It also notes that we need stronger laws to achieve the goals of reducing these harmful gases, and cite several pieces of legislation that are mentioned in the resolution that allow incentivization for people to get off of fossil fuels, reducing greenhouse gases in existing structures, decarbonization of buildings, and reducing methane emissions from landfills. And at the end, it calls upon 34 Dems to support these bills and for us to notify our elected officials of our support. Normally at this point, I would say I would like to make a motion that it has gone through the caucus and the resolutions committee and the e-board, and that we recommend a yes vote. However, because it deals with pending legislation, we all know that the legislative process is always fluid. And so there are a few changes in this resolution. They do not, however, change the intent of it. So I'm going to hand off to Annie and Randy to explain the difference as we ask you to consider this resolution with some amendment. You can take it away, Annie.
I think Randy's going to do the amendment part.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'd be happy to. Thanks for the opportunity here, and to Madam Chair and for all her work, and to Annie especially in putting this together. I would like to make a motion to amend this resolution before we go any further with it. And the amendment would read as follows: to the amended resolution to include House Bill 1619, which is concerning appliance efficiency standards.
And the one that we're removing that's dead now is Senate Bill 5093, House Bill 1084, reducing statewide greenhouse gas emissions by achieving greater decarbonization of residential and commercial buildings.
Okay, can we go back to 1619, please? I need to get this in writing and then we'll make a formal motion of amendment.
I'll be happy to repeat myself. So House Bill 1619 concerning appliance efficiency standards.
That's it?
That's all, Madam Chair.
Okay.
There's no corresponding Senate bill like the others have? Or is there?
Not to my knowledge at this time.
Okay.
No, that's right, there's not.
Thank you.
And we're deleting Senate Bill 5093 and HB 1084.
Thank you.
Okay, so for Sarah, Randy, can you encapsulate these two changes in a motion, please?
Very well. And so for the record then, I move the following: that we amend the resolution to include House Bill 1619 concerning appliance efficiency standards, and to strike Senate Bill 5093, House Bill 1084, reducing statewide greenhouse gas emissions by achieving greater decarbonization of residential and commercial buildings.
Perfect, thank you.
Rachel Glass, second.
Okay, thank you, Rachel.
Hang on. Sorry,
Now,
this
can
is
we-
Sarah.
Can we have
Just-
a motion to adopt this resolution? Rachel, I thought you were gonna,
Yes, that will be after this motion.
okay.
Okay. Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Rachel
Rachel.
Glass.
Thank you.
So we'll first vote on the amendment, which is what Randy just stated, striking this one, adding this one. And then after we vote on the amendment, we'll go back to the original motion. And so it'll be two separate votes. Okay, is there any discussion about the amendment? I think we all know that it's obvious, or it is obvious why this is being changed. Any discussion? Okay. So all those in favor, let's do a voice vote on this. All those in favor, say
Aye.
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 okay. Anyone opposed, say nay. Okay. This amendment passes. So we'll go back to the original. I think we need to have a motion to, I don't know whether we have to repeat this. I think we better go ahead and have a motion on the on this resolution to start with, as amended.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that the membership of the 34th adopt this resolution as amended to reflect the progress of the bills in the legislature.
Thank you.
I will second.
Perfect. Bunny seconded. Rachel made the motion. Now we're going to do this a little bit more officially. So one thing that we're going to do a little differently this year, or at least going forward this year, through my term at least, is when we have a resolution or we're voting on something, you know, more than the minutes or the agenda, that sort of thing, I am going to go ahead and capture the data in a poll. The reason for this is that I want to make those who might want to say nay, you know, give them a little more privacy in voting their heart. Someone mentioned in passing that, you know, when you're taking a voice vote, it's so out there, and, you know, some people might feel less confident or comfortable, you know, having opposition to a particular vote. So when it comes to things that really matter for the organization, like a resolution, I'd like to go ahead and capture them in polls, and it just takes a minute. So we're going to do it a little bit differently, starting with this one. So again, this is the resolution in favor of adopting the, the resolution in support of climate bills pending in the 2022 Washington State Legislature as amended. I'm going to launch a poll. Please make your vote. If you are not in a place where you can vote, you know, using the tool, maybe you have two people in front of one computer, feel free to text your vote over to me privately. And you will have to answer the question of, are you a member or a PCO? And remember that members are those who have renewed or joined this year. Okay. All right, I've got, all right, a couple more votes coming in. Give it a couple more seconds. We'll go to a minute. Got 33 votes of 43 participants. All right, looks like we're wrapping up. I will end the poll. We are 100% yes. This resolution is adopted. And Randy and Bunny, you are free to advocate the heck out of it. So go for it. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this in. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, moving down, let me see. Okay, moving forward, we have, let me go back to my presentation. Oops. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Hang on just a second. Okay. All right, next it's my pleasure to introduce our Healthcare Caucus lead, Jen Nye, who will share information about the key bill that they're watching as their caucus. And I believe we have some updates also coming from the folks at Whole Washington, which is actually a resolution we adopted last September. Jen, are you with us?
Yeah, hi, thanks, Carla.
All right, awesome.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Jen Nye, and I'm the chair of the Healthcare Caucus. I am open to co-chair possibilities, just so you know. And I appreciate this chance to provide an update on what we've been working on tonight. We are a relatively small caucus. There's just 3 to 5 active members at this time, but we are a passionate group and we are fighting for the transformation of our healthcare system. So next slide, please. So just to clarify our overarching goal, we're fighting for a system that includes everyone continuously. So new job, no job, single, married, divorced, No matter your age, whether you're 26 or 64, everyone's coverage would be gold standard. So dental, vision, mental health, reproductive health, anything that your provider deems necessary to your health would be covered. And a huge piece of this is that it would be free at the point of service. So absolutely no financial barriers to care. Our system today, though, unfortunately, is becoming more and more commodified and privatized. Whether it's Medicare direct contracting or hospital takeovers, the profit incentive is consolidating power, and it's making it more and more difficult for us to gain momentum and proactively build a system that puts us first. We're in this perpetually reactive state just to keep the care that we have. So next slide, please. The bill that we'd like to call your attention to tonight is the Keep Our Care Act. So this is Senate Bill 5688 and House Bill 1809. And essentially this would give our state attorney general the power to review and limit and deny mergers and acquisitions that would restrict or harm our care. And this is coming from activity from 2019, where Chi Franciscan had to pay $2.5 million to resolve a federal antitrust violation for some activity that was happening on the Kitsap Peninsula. But these mergers and acquisitions are still happening. And 48% of our hospitals in Washington are owned by religious hospitals. And these corporate associations can limit access not only to general care by closing facilities or taking over facilities, but they can also restrict our care, like to abortions or gender affirming care or end of life care, like death with dignity. So these entities are very powerful, and they are fighting this bill and they're winning. So if you can please look up these bills, like follow those steps that Carla had on the screen. It really is a very intuitive and easy process to comment on these bills. You just look up the number and put in pro and voice your support, and they will automatically send emails to our elected officials in the 34th. So next slide. So how do we go about getting real transformation? Year after year, we all know that our legislature is swamped with healthcare bills that address very specific conditions or populations or situations like insulin costs or surprise bills. And while they can get us necessary protections, they don't get at the root cause. But our state legislature is looking at that, and their response has been a universal healthcare work group followed by a universal healthcare commission. So back in 2019, the state appointed work group started their 15-month study, and they created a 113-page report, and it was submitted to the legislature in 2021. And what you're looking at on this slide here is showing these three models that were ranked in the report. And the first one is a state governed and administered, privately delivered system. And just look at those savings. Like in the first year alone, in the startup year, they were predicting a savings of 2.5 billion. And then a steady savings year after year of like 5.6 billion. So we know this can be done, and we can save money in the process. So where do you come in for this work group and commission? Next slide, please. These meetings are not only open to the public, they encourage us to weigh in. So the commission started meeting, the first meeting was back in November, they had one in January, and the next one is coming up in February on the 25th. But I want you to notice the deadline for written comments is tomorrow. So please take a moment to send an email to that email that's on the screen there. Maybe we can put it in the chat too. And just tell your personal healthcare story. I don't know how they can continue to listen to so many horror stories, but please do. And maybe ask them for a firm commitment that they want to remove the profit incentive. This is kind of it's a mixed room. The commission does have members of the health insurance industry on the commission. And so it's important that we are really clear with what our ultimate goal is and push for urgent action. The legislation that's associated with this commission was expecting a timeline of implementation by 2026, but it can be done faster than that, and it has to. Our healthcare is in urgent crisis. The pandemic has kind of proven that. So, so these are your two main calls to action. The other, there's a note here also too, that if you want to speak before the group, they allow that, they encourage that also, but you do need to sign up by 5 p.m. the night before, and all you need to do is send an email to that same address. So I encourage your involvement. They need to know that we're watching them closely. We need to apply pressure, and we need to demand real action. So right now, and also I just want to give just a quick pitch for the caucus, next slide please, is to join us. And the easiest and best way to do that is through the Slack channel and join our healthcare caucus there. We'd love to have more bodies.
And Jen, I'll interrupt you and say in just a few moments, I have a little spiel about that. And I have made a page on the website to tell you how to do that if you're interested in the Slack channel. So that's coming up.
Cool. So I'd like to hand off to a good friend and an inspiration to me personally. I'm also the volunteer communications director for Whole Washington. And we're an organization that's fighting for universal health care, both at the state level and the federal level. And when we're not getting action from our legislature, we are very fortunate in Washington to have the initiative process. And so I'd like to introduce everybody because the one thing I want to call out is our bill, Senate Bill 5204, which was co-sponsored by our own Senator Joe Nguyen. It once again this year did not receive a hearing. So we need to have this alternative option, this direct democracy that the initiative process provides. And so I'd like to hand it over to our new campaign director, Andre Stockhouse, and he's going to kind of share with you the plan to make this a success.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andre. Nice to meet you. Great to be here in the 34th LD. So glad to be talking to a group that has already passed a resolution in support of Whole Washington's ballot initiative. And I guess the main thing that I want to talk to you about tonight is, not just how we pass that on paper, but how we involve ourselves, because my favorite part about this campaign is that it's statewide and that it's universal healthcare, which means that I get to basically talk to everybody and say, would you like better healthcare? Let's get it done together. And I think the most concise way to break it down is to share our campaign video, which is rather new. It really was made for 2022. And after that, I'm happy to answer any questions that folks may have. And I guess I was not 100% sure if I would be sharing the video or if someone would roll it for me, but I appear to have screen share capabilities.
Yes.
And I share the video over Zoom all the time. So I will go ahead and roll it now. So this video is on YouTube. I'll go ahead and put a link in the chat. It's called How Whole Washington Will Put Universal Healthcare on the Ballot in 2022. So I encourage you all to grab this link and share it widely. So I'll just go ahead and put it in the chat now so you have it, and then I will roll the video. All right, here we go. Washington State is home to over 7.6 million people. If it was a country, its GDP per capita would be higher than wealthy nations like Australia, Germany, and Norway. But while all of these countries have free universal healthcare systems, 6.6% of Washington State, or over 450,000 people, have no health insurance at all. What can we do to ensure that everyone has comprehensive healthcare no matter what? Or what can we do to provide healthcare that's always there? The answer is universal public health insurance. Senate Bill 5204 would create a universal public health insurance plan called the Whole Washington Health Trust. That plan would cover all Washington residents. That's right, everyone, regardless of age, income, or employment status, everyone's covered. It also covers everything. In fact, it's a huge expansion beyond traditional Medicare because it includes dental, vision, hearing, mental health, reproductive health, and much more. For a full list, go to Whole Washington's website. And it also costs between $5 and $10 billion less than our current healthcare system every year. And remember, that's without leaving anyone uninsured or in medical debt. So how do we pass it? Well, in Washington State, we have ballot initiatives. Ballot initiatives are a process in which citizens can collect a required number of signatures to put a law on the ballot to be either approved or rejected by a direct vote of the people. This is the process we use to legalize cannabis and marriage equality. So the question is, what about universal health care? According to the Washington State Constitution, the number of signatures we need to collect is 8% or more of the votes cast for governor in the last election. How many is that? Well, just under 2.5 million people voted for governor in 2020. 8% of that is just under 325,000. However, the Secretary of State recommends an additional 15 to 20% cushion to account for invalid signatures. For instance, maybe someone who isn't a registered voter or who isn't from Washington State signs our petition. So, an additional 23% cushion gives us a goal of 400,000. 400,000 total signatures to put universal public health insurance on the ballot. One thing you might notice about this is that it's actually fewer than the number of people who are uninsured. So, how are we going to collect the signatures? That's where the Whole Washington signature captains come in. The idea is very simple. We recruit 800 captains, and we have them each commit to leading the collection of 500 signatures. What do we mean by leading? Well, the signature captains don't necessarily need to personally collect every signature. It's just on them to make sure that it happens. This is a leadership position, which means you will have support if you need it. Why 800 captains? Well, it's a big number, but it's doable.
We know that there are thousands of supporters of Medicare for All and universal health care in Washington state. So the question is, can we turn 800 of them into signature captains? It's likely more captains than we would actually need to get the signatures, but we consider that a good thing because it forces us to focus on recruitment. Remember, we don't just need to get this on the ballot, we need to win the election. So it's important that we bring in as many people as we can. Why 500 signatures each? Well, it's totally achievable by a single person. Anyone can do it, but it's a large enough number that it naturally encourages the formation of teams, which is something we really want to encourage captains to do to make these goals so much more achievable. But even without a full team, this can be done in just 10 to 15 hours. So we really want to emphasize that you can do this. You can do this. And one way we're going to help captains succeed at collecting their 500 signatures is by making sure they have support from other captains through a buddy system. So as part of your onboarding, you're going to be paired with a big buddy and you're going to be paired with a little buddy. And just like that, every signature captain will have a support system of 2 other people in the program that they can go to anytime they need help. Leading up to signature gathering, we're going to be very focused on recruiting volunteers and assigning them to captains to form small teams. Depending on the availability of volunteers and the needs of each captain, those teams may look quite different. Some captains might not need a team at all. Our goal is for every captain to have a team that they feel will make them successful. Now, sometime before signature gathering begins, each captain will be receiving a box containing everything they need to get their signatures. We're calling it the Signature Captain Field Kit because we imagine that you could simply hand the box to a volunteer and it would provide clear step-by-step instructions for completing the signature captain commitment. Inside that box will be at least 25 petition sheets and 5 boards for you and your team, as well as the Signature Captain Field Guide that contains all sorts of practical information like how to organize a shift, how to recruit volunteers to your team, how to do the data entry, how to send the petition sheets in. And of course, every box will contain a hand-knitted red beret as a gift and a symbol of solidarity donated by a volunteer craftivist in support of universal healthcare. So with a team, a box of sheets, a field guide for how to gather signatures, and a red beret to look great doing it, every signature captain will be well prepared to get universal healthcare out in front of voters and on the ballot. The filing deadline for our ballot initiative is in March, and signature gathering will begin shortly after in April. The campaign is nearly 9 months long, and signed petition sheets must be postmarked in late December. Everything before signature gathering begins we're calling the pre-campaign, and our main goals will be to recruit and train the 800 signature captains, plan shifts and signature gathering events, and build pre-awareness of the upcoming initiative campaign. Once signature gathering begins, you have a lot of time to reach your commitment. Using all the time available, that comes out to just 15 signatures a week, probably less than an hour of work per week. Once we get the sheets in, the real campaign begins. Election day will be November 2023. So, you're all on board with the plan and you want to know, how do I become a signature captain? Well, the first thing to know is that anyone can do it. You don't need to be 18. You don't need to be a registered voter. You don't even need to be from Washington State. If you're willing and able to make the commitment we need, then you can be a signature captain. Step 1, you fill out the signature captain interest form and someone from Whole Washington will be in touch with you soon. There's a link at the end of the video and in the description. The next step is to attend a signature captain orientation to learn about the ballot initiative and the signature captain program. Once you understand the program and are willing to make the core commitment, you're ready to sign the signature captain contract. The core commitment is leading the collection of the 500 signatures, working with a small team of volunteers and participating in the buddy system, ensuring the data entry for those signatures, which is critical for keeping us on track with our goals and finding new volunteers, And last, ensuring that the petition sheets get sent into Whole Washington, where they'll eventually be sent off to the Secretary of State. So if you understand the commitment and are ready to make it, then you're ready to sign the contract, and congratulations, you're officially a Whole Washington signature captain. And that's really all there is to it. That's how 800 well-organized signature captains in a bit of planning can put universal healthcare on the ballot, can win healthcare that's always there, and can make Washington whole. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn more or get involved, you can fill out the signature captain interest form, and someone from Whole Washington will be in touch with you soon. You can also keep track of the campaign by following Whole Washington on Twitter @Whole Washington. And if you're watching this as part of orientation, thank you so much for stepping up. We're very excited to work with you.
So I always love taking questions after that video, because sometimes I get a ton, and sometimes people just feel that it quite speaks for itself. But I see one question about the Red Berets. They say, do they intentionally resemble those guardian angels, those that ID the guardian angels? Coincidence? I think that is a coincidence, but I would like to speak to the Berets for a moment. So that is part of a national group of craftivists who have been knitting Red Berets for several years now, and they donate them for free to us, and they sell them, and it actually is often one of our #1 fundraising items. So anyone who can knit can join that craftivist movement. And it was inspired by the Women's March hats, and the founder is also a veteran for peace. So they wanted to create a very, very striking visual symbol for solidarity with the healthcare movement. Do folks have any other questions?
And incidentally, that last question about the Berets came from Jennifer Robertson, who is also in the Healthcare Caucus. Thanks for joining the caucus, Jennifer.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you.
So one thing I can do, oh, I see one question from Rachel.
Thanks, Andre. So my question is, just clarifying, this is a statewide campaign, right? That captains are being recruited from all over the state, or just in Seattle, or but
Nope,
statewide,
it is,
right?
It is a statewide ballot initiative, which means that anyone who's a registered voter in Washington state can sign, and the healthcare system itself would cover everybody in the state. And really, the signature captains don't even need to be from Washington state. So one thing I love about Whole Washington is we're a very solidarity-based organization. And the only other ballot initiative that I'm aware of for universal healthcare in the country right now is in Maine. And we're actually planning a trip to Maine in March to help them gather signatures, which for us is also a great opportunity to learn about what strategies and techniques they use. So it's really amazing that anyone can support this. You don't need to be 18. You don't need to be a citizen. If you can hold a clipboard, then you can gather signatures. And I see Kate has raised their hand.
I'm sorry, no, I didn't raise my hand. There's something weird about my computer. And when I started to type the question, it came up automatically. I apologize.
No worries.
Well, the good thing is if we have questions at a later time, we have Jen right here with us all the time, and she is available on Slack, and has always spoken. She helped us a lot with our resolution in the fall, and excited to have her involved in this caucus, and she can carry the message forward through any questions we get going forward.
Thank you
And
very much.
Madam Chair, I have a question. If this is considered a mini program, I can put together some information to put in our program hubs page, if that is what this is considered, and then folks can find ways to contact Jen.
Sure, yeah, we can put it in the on the Hubs page. Sure, yeah.
All right, great.
absolutely.
I'll get that together for
And
that.
not to challenge Jen for too much additional work. I think a lot of it might be in the slides, but you know, we're going to put and we can put some information in the newsletter about joining as a signature captain, and we can use our email as well just to get the word out to the broader group.
I just wanted to add a couple things. So I see a couple questions in the, I see one question in the chat I'd love to answer. I see a couple hands, and then Jen has posted a link to our volunteer sign up form, which is great. If you are, just want to get in touch with us, that's the best place. And then I put a link to 2 upcoming orientation sessions, which is a great first step if you're ready to actually get involved. I don't want to take too much time, but Dean asks, how consistent is this with the Democratic platform? So I can say that I was actually a Bernie Sanders delegate in 2020 at the state and national level. I went to those conventions, and the progressive, delegates fought very hard to ensure that this was in the state platform. The state party platform actually has a beautiful commitment to a very, very maximalist universal healthcare system. So really, it should be no trouble at all to pass this, given the trifecta we have in the government. It's completely consistent with the party. Also, I can't speak to the support on representatives in the 34th district, but is this practical in a state that cannot have an income tax? And I will just say that the bill is fully paid for, and it has a number of revenue streams, but basically, I have spent a lot of time comparing Washington state to other countries. That's why I mentioned the GDP per capita. And there is more than enough money to pass this. And really, most of this money comes from employer side taxes, capital gains taxes. It makes the tax code overall more progressive, while giving everyone progressive, comprehensive coverage and lowering the total cost of healthcare. One person asks, Kate asks, how does it impact Medicare enrollees and people with other insurance programs? Does it put insurance companies out of business? So there is a transition plan as well. And at the end of the transition, Medicare enrollees will be part of the whole Washington healthcare plan. It's a big expansion on Medicare. So that's part of a process where we get a waiver that allows us to enroll those people in our plan and apply the money to our plan. It would just be a universal plan rather than one that only covers the elderly. And does it put insurance companies out of business? The answer is most people will not be getting their insurance through private insurance anymore. Private insurance would still be able to exist and offer additional coverage beyond what is covered. So if they're able to find ways to add value on top of the comprehensive coverage that we guaranteed, that would be one way that private insurance could continue to exist. But the essentials would be completely covered by the public system. Everybody would have it.
Okay, I think Elizabeth, you had your hand up for a moment. I will give you 1 minute to get last question in. I've really got to move on. I got several other things to do before the end of the evening.
Okay, just a quick question, Elizabeth here. If one isn't in a position to be a captain, will there be a chance later on for being recruited to be on the captain's team? And will that be through the 34th?
Yes, so there are many ways to be involved. You don't have to be a captain. So what I would say is if you scroll up in the chat and you go to wholewashington.org/volunteer, I would recommend signing up on that form. And we have people who phone bank, people who do data entry, people who say, I would like to collect signatures, but I can't commit to 500. So really the time to get involved is now, I would say. But there will be many opportunities to get involved. You're going to be hearing more and more about us as the campaign ramps up. And you're very fortunate to have Jen in this LD, who's not going to let you forget that this is happening.
Okay, great questions. Annie is pointing out that you can only private message the co-hosts. Essentially, I did not know that. That might be a holdover from endorsements last summer. I apologize that there's a setting that that I clearly did not take off. So I'm gonna leave. Why don't I make Jen? Are you okay with me making you co-host in case anybody else has questions?
No problem, Carla. Yeah.
Okay, let me do that. And then we can roll on here. Give me a second. All right, Jen. Okay, so Jen is now a co-host, and if you want to ask Jen or Andre a question as I move along, feel free to do so. Andre, thank you for coming and hanging out with us a little bit, giving us the new updates. I hope we can get you a captain out of the 34th, multiple captains out of the 34th. I'm sure Jen will be all over that. And good luck with the campaign. And I think I would be surprised if not all of us in this call are 100% behind us. So.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to meet you all and present tonight. I am very excited to work with you all.
Awesome.
And I will put my contact info in the chat before I go. So thank you for that call.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go back to sharing. All right, thank you. So moving along, again, also thank you, Jen, for the information prior to the presentation by Andre. I'm so proud of the work of these two caucuses that we've highlighted tonight. This is exactly what I had envisioned for these membership policy caucuses. So keep it up. This is how we take our collective voice of the 34th and wield that power. Yes, everybody can individually advocate, 100% true. But when we all do it as a district, and we are a big, and we have a lot of clout. So it's awesome to see this happening. I love it. This is what this is all about. So thanks for all your work. If you're interested, I talked about this earlier, Jen talked about this earlier, if you're interested in joining the Healthcare Caucus, or even if you just want to be a part of the conversation, I highly suggest that you join the Slack. I have this slide up here again. That is the Healthcare Caucus channel in our Slack, but Steve's going to put in the chat a link that will take you to a page that shows you exactly how to join our Slack channel, and then once you're joined, how you can kind of find the groups that you would like to talk to. So get involved in that way if you can. Sorry, I lost my second screen. At this point, let's go ahead and move forward with our PCO report. No one is more excited about getting out the vote than our PCO chair, Nick Bonaza. Nick, I'd like to ask that you share your plans for the PCOs for these upcoming months. And then I think we have one new PCO to appoint. Just like with the resolutions, we're going to do the Zoom poll again as we do the PCO appointments. So just heads up on that. All right, Nick, take it away.
Great, thank you. I'll start off with the appointment for the PCO, and then I'll go on to what our PCO plans are for this really important year, 2022. So tonight I have the honor of presenting a prospective PCO, Dina Ledger, who also coincidentally is the new chair for the Platform and Legislative Action Committee also too. So she will be the, once appointed, she would be the PCO for Seattle 34 3263. So Dina, please turn on your video and sound. And if you have a few words to say, just a couple that you're comfortable saying, say hello to us. And then I would like to proceed with the oath.
All right. Hi, I'm Dina. I live in Highland Park, West Seattle. I've been living here about 7 years in this neighborhood. I love my neighborhood. I think it's awesome. And I'm excited to have more reasons to talk to my neighbors. So I'm happy to become a PCO.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, here I go. Okay. Are you willing to serve as a Democratic precinct committee officer in your precinct until December 1st, 2022?
Yes.
Do you recognize that it's your responsibility to know the boundaries of your precinct and be familiar with its residents and registered voters? Do you understand that your duties also include providing voters with campaign material for endorsed candidates prior to each primary and general election, get out the vote activities, new voter registration, and before the motion to appoint, would you please answer this one question? Are you a Democrat?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. Carla, may I have a motion to appoint this PCO for 3263?
Okay, Nick is making a motion to appoint Dina Ledger for 3263. Can I get a second?
Rachel Glass, second.
Thank you. All right. I have lost my mind and I do not have a poll for this. So we're going to go old fashioned and do a voice vote again. All those in favor, again, PCOs only for this vote, please. I'll do a better job next month in getting an official poll up, but all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, please say nay. All right. Thank you, Dina. Dina is also our new Platform and Legislative Action Committee Chair. I'll be talking about that in 1 second. So she not only has stepped up to be a PCO, but she's also going to be on the board. So triple thank you to Dina. All right, Nick, you want to tell us a little bit about what you plan?
Yeah, we'll talk a few minutes about what's ahead for PCOs. This is, as Carla stated, it's a very important election year and an important year for PCOs. It's filing time. As a PCO today, both appointed, elected, and acting PCOs, our terms end on November 30th, and the new term begins December 1st of this year. And I don't have to tell you, this year is very important because of the congressional elections, but 2023 and 2024, how important is that? And back in 2020, we had a lot of participation of new PCOs. Well, 4 years now, another important election after this one will be 2024. So beginning with that, though, our jobs this year, beginning mid-February, we'll be talking to voters for voter ID to ensure that our database in Vote Builder can make a difference to campaigns and that it's up to date. And to reach out to voters and learn about what's important to them, bring it back to forums where they'll be heard. We'll assist with voter registration this year, and if a voter doesn't think their vote will count, we're going to work on that trust. On January 30th, the King County Central Committee held a great kickoff meeting, and I'm pleased to say that there was great representation from the 34th. And I want to thank every PCO that signed up for that. There will be more training modules planned for the next few months. For instance, canvassing, minivan, etc. You'll be getting information about that from me as time goes along. Look for voter registration pop-ups across the 34th, led by local PCOs in that area, and with the help from the Outreach Committee and Social Equity Committee. we'll have them throughout the 34th. 2022 Washington State Redistricting Committee has been mentioned, plan is now in the state legislature, and we shall know very soon how our new boundaries will be and how they've changed. But regardless of that, regardless of it, the changes to the LDs, all PCOs appointed and elected are encouraged to refile in their home precincts for the 2023 to 2024 term. We still have too many precincts without PCOs. If you are or know of anyone who might be interested in having them be a PCO, if they want to be a PCO, if they want to learn about being a PCO, please have them contact me. PCOs, if you have questions about what's coming up for this year, let's talk. Call me. I'm available, and we could meet either online or in person. This is an important election year with positions from Congress to the state legislature to King County. Again, it's filing time, May 16th through May 20th. Mark your calendars. You'll be getting, I believe there'll be a form on our website for filing. And that's it. That's what I have to say. And continue to be a PCO, continue to talk to your neighbors. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nick. All right, again, I think Steve's going to put Nick's email in there, pco@34dems.org, if you are not a PCO and would like to be a PCO. All right, I have 8 minutes to get through announcements and board appointments very quickly. I am excited. You know, we've had a lot of vacancies on the board, and I'm super excited that I've got a couple people who have committed to step up and be a part of the board and take on a new responsibility. So first up, as I mentioned, Dina Ledger has committed to take over the Platform and Legislative Action Committee. Gina, who's already our parliamentarian, has committed to take over our fundraiser this summer. We're already planning that. Excited to have Gina do that. And then Soleil Lewis, who is a former candidate and recently moved into the district. She's very active in King County Dems, and she is going to be stepping up to take over for Jeff Spey as our Social Justice and Equity Chair. Jeff is going to stay on the committee. He just has his hands full with a baby and some new job responsibilities and wanted to step back and just be a participant. So super excited to have these 3 ladies step up and join. Does anyone have an issue with a voice vote for this appointment? Members and PCOs, please unmute yourself. All those in favor of appointing or affirming the appointment of these 3 board members, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, please say nay, and then I'll be really mad at you. All right, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for voting, and thank you all for stepping up to serve. Super excited to get you on the board. All right, last couple of announcements. Gina Top, are you still with us? I think Gina wanted to say a few words about the fundraiser that she's planning. Maybe Cora is fussing. All right, we'll come back to that. Okay, Gina is, like I said, going to be, we're going to be working on planning this event. Sarah Smith is involved, Rachel Glass is involved, I'm involved, Gina's involved, she's leading it. We'd love to have some help. GinaTop@gmail.com if you are willing to help us out with any of the tasks. We're looking at a July fundraiser. Our next pop-up social will be held next Friday, the 18th from 5:30 to 8. We are going to go back to Whiskey West. I have spoken with them. They're super excited to get us back and have promised that they'll keep the music down so that we can all talk and enjoy each other's company and talk politics. A little birdie told me that Senator Wynn will be there as well. And I'm hoping that you all are able to come out and join us if you're comfortable to be out in public. Totally understand that not everybody is, but for those of you who are, let's come together and switch stories there. So next, as I mentioned at the top of the meeting, our 2022 Delegate Caucus will be held on March 26th. We're putting together plans for this. Rachel and Colleen Hinton and I, Nick's going to help us out, and Martin's going to help us out. And this caucus is going to be very different than in the past. It will be virtual. Voting will be done offline on a Google form. So it's going to be a little different, but we have some requirements being passed down from the state party that are that are going to make us change things up a little bit. You must be a member or a PCO to vote. Delegates, I know someone had asked earlier in the night what it took to be a delegate. Delegates represent the state at convention. It is in Tacoma this year. You can go down to convention. If you don't want to, you can participate virtually. It is on June 25th. There are, as I think I said earlier, 32 delegates and 16 alternates. So we need a lot of folks to participate here. Let's fill all these seats. Delegates actually get to vote on the party platform, on resolutions, and of course, voting on our candidates. I've done it before here in Washington 2 years ago, and then I did it several times in Virginia, and it's a pretty cool experience. So it should be, low commitment Saturday afternoon, I believe, but we'd love to see you out there. So more information will be shared in our newsletter coming out this month on the 27th, and it will give you kind of all the steps of what you need to do. It'll be fairly straightforward, but look out for those instructions. Our next meeting will be on March 9th, 6:30. Rachel's working on a program featuring the great work of Choose 180. Choose 180 is a nonprofit in Burien, which serves as an emergency room for youth in crisis. They focus on restorative justice practices in lieu of traditional prosecution. So hopefully you can join us for that meeting.
Carla, just
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, Madam Chair. The meeting for Choose 180 is for April.
Oh,
I am working on March, and I will let you know what that's.
oh, my fault.
As soon as I
Totally my fault. I had that wrong.
No worries.
My apologies. Okay, well, hold that for April. We will have something else awesome in March for our pre-program. More news to come before the end of the month. Our next board meeting is the 23rd of February, 2 weeks from tonight, 7 to 8:30. If you'd like to join us for whatever reason, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to get you an invite. And then lastly, Nick mentioned this, I hate even having to talk about this, but it's a very sad report for me about the state of redistricting. It does appear that February 13th is kind of the end all date, and there will be a final answer that day, couple different possibilities. If the legislature does not act, then the maps are going to go forward as approved earlier. There may be some tweaks that happen, but what I'm hearing is that it will not affect us. The tweaks that are happening are in those very key districts like Yakima that had some pretty major problems in them. So, I've kind of had to transition my mind over to the reality that we are in, and this transition period that we're getting ready to start. If you live in Burien, if you live south of 128th in Burien, you will need to check the maps to be sure that you are indeed moving to the 33rd district. Steve will put the link in the chat. All you have to do is go into that link, put in your address, and it will tell you where you are. Again, it's not final, but we are very, very confident it is going to become final. The PCOs that are affected have already been called by Nick, and I'll be reaching out as well with more information. But the key there is PCOs will still be PCOs if they move to the 33rd. Nothing changes for PCOs. You do not lose your position in any way. So also, we've got obviously a lot of members, not PCOs, but just 34th members who will also be leaving us, and we wish that all of you leaving will become active in the 33rd. They need you probably more than we need you, and take some of our awesome down there to the 33rd, and keep advocating, keep being engaged. That's what we want. You'll also want to join the 33rd if you are being redistricted, so that you can vote in the delegate caucus, and you have to be a member. Any PCOs obviously will transfer, but members will have to be a member before the 25th or by the 25th of February in order to vote next month in the caucus. We are actually going to be receiving PCOs, a couple from the 11th, the 33rd, the 37th, and the 43rd. Obviously, we're going to be trying to get those members to transfer over, just like what's happening with our members. I'll be working to identify them. I've already talked to a lot of the other chairs, and we're kind of working on plans and communications as we meet tonight. It's a confusing time. I know this. Please feel free to email me if you live in Burien and are confused about what you should do. Again, check the map. If you're still inside, nothing changes for you. All of you, just keep fighting the good fight in Burien. We did a lot of good work there, and I just want to see that continue. And we have a small slice of Burien still at the very, very top, Boulevard Park area. We'll get to keep Hugo Garcia and Aaron Garcia, and we're inheriting Sarah Moore, who was just elected to the council. So we will still be in Burien. We're not going anywhere. And again, we'll miss our friends who are going to be having to leave. But you can always come back and visit. You can always be with us for anything that we do. We'd love to partner with you. And, I hate to see this happen, but it's just part of the deal. Okay, so with that, we are at the end of the agenda, 4 minutes late. Is there anybody that has anything quickly for good of the order? Sorry to leave little time for that.
Yes, Elizabeth here.
Okay, yes, Elizabeth, go ahead.
Hi. The West Seattle Democratic Women have on its program for this month ranked choice voting. Now, I know we did a wonderful presentation some years ago at the 34th. If you'd like to have a run through again on what this means, or you'd like to be introduced to this concept, it's going to affect us. I think it's going to happen, and you want to know about it and participate in it. So our meeting is the 4th Thursday of the month. So check the West Seattle blog, where I'll have an announcement and the information on whom to contact to get the link to join us. There's no charge. The more, the better. And we welcome your participation in our programs. Thank you.
Cool. Elizabeth, Anne or Elizabeth, send me what you have, and I'll get it in the email that I sent on Sunday as well.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Okay, well, there's no further business. If there's no
I
objection.
just have one comment real quick.
Sure.
I don't really know much about how the Democratic Party runs, even though I've been voting Democrat all my life. I would just like to throw out a crazy idea, being that I'm in the piece of that's going down to the 33rd, and that I have enjoyed very much working with the ELU. And insofar as our leadership is being split, that in fact, maybe there is a way we can create an ELU in the 33rd and unite forces and work
Yeah.
together with the ELU of the 34th.
I love it.
That's something that could be considered as a possibility.
Well, certainly, we actually do a lot of stuff with the 33rd. I know that the outreach team, Steve and Karen, they've done lots of joint events, and there's always room for collaboration and partnership. So I think that's a brilliant idea. Happy to, I'm sure Annie and Randy would be happy to have that happen as well.
I
Thank
certainly
you.
would. I think it's a great idea. I think we should contact Terry Lindeke and see what she thinks.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Awesome. Anyone else? Thanks, Kate, for that. And sorry to have you leave too.
Oh, me too.
Taking all my people away. Oh, goodness. I don't even want to think about it.
I'm crying.
All right, well, if there's no objection, the meeting will be adjourned. Any objections? Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good night. And
Thank you. Bye-bye.
we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Night.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Night,
Bye.
night.
Night.
And Carla, I love your Jimmy Carter quote. That's, woo.
Yeah. I love quotes.
You have good quotes at the end of all our meetings. I love
Yeah,
that.
thank you. I like it.
Look
I
forward to
don't
that.
even know how I started doing that, but now it's like I gotta do it every month.
Yeah, well,
So yeah.
it is seen. It's
Yeah, I appreciate that.
appreciated. Yeah, it's great.
I hope I sent the video to the cloud. I don't know
Yes,
what
that is
part of the cloud
correct.
that went to, but I hope
Yep.
you know.
Yes, that is exactly what, and then that way, actually, I have access to it. So that was
Yeah,
perfect.
right.
Perfect
That's what I
choice.
figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Steve, thank you for stepping in. I very
Oh, yeah,
much
sure.
appreciate your support.
Sure. I kind of I had too many windows open, and I think I had my cursor in the wrong place at the wrong time. I pasted some pictures
Oh, I know.
on your screen.
I know. I
And then I
saw that
wiped out a
too.
link and everything. I was like, man.
Yes. Yes, I noticed that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. No, it's all good. Thank you so much again. I appreciate
Good.
it.
Yeah, no problem. Fun.
I'm
All right.
filling out the survey right now.
Oh, thank you. Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks, you all, friends, everybody. See
Good
you.
night.
See you very soon. Good night.
Oh, look at all that. Love our Burien neighbors. Oh, I hate to see that. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Thank you.